Alright, so we've cut up lots of hot peppers, getting ready for our hot pepper jelly. One of the first steps is to sterilize the jars we're going to put that jelly into. So I've got 8 small form factor wide-mouthed jelly jars in simmering water. That'll go for about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, to make sure they're good and sterilized according to the Ball manufacturer instructions from Ball. And then we'll check back in. When we come back around, we'll start going through and actually making some jelly. Alright, hi everybody. We're back. We're going to get started with our jelly mixture in preparation for Thanksgiving. Last year I made a turducken sausage. We'll be making that video soon. And so I made a traditional type of cranberry dressing to go with it. This year we're going to try something a little bit different. So we're going to try and do a Fresno pepper cranberry jam or cranberry preserves. So I've got 2 cups of frozen cranberries, getting those into a hot pan. I've got 2 cups of Fresno peppers that I chopped up. And this jelly goes fairly quickly, right? You got to keep it stirring so it doesn't burn at the bottom. And as the liquid starts coming out of the cranberries, it'll all start coming to a boil. Let me use my hand, but get all the rest of this red peppers out, right? Trying to go all red with the Fresno peppers and cranberries. There's a cup of apple cider vinegar. And I've got it at a fairly high heat. We'll get this going in a rolling boil. I went with a little larger pan because we're going to add about 5 cups of sugar here. So we get all of these pieces put in, and 1 package of pectin. And that pectin helps bring things together. And once all of this comes up to a rolling boil, then we'll stir in the sugar quickly and we will have jam. Now I am going to try and get these cranberries to break down a little bit more. So we probably will end up smashing them. To really get it broken down. Ooh, you can smell that vinegar hitting the nose. We'll keep stirring it actively. Like I said, last year we did this turducken sausage, which came out great. We're going to do it again this year as we get ready. One of the dishes that really was successful last year. And now just trying to add something a little bit more into this. Now obviously it's only, we're testing out. It's one of the things, with a big meal, sometimes you've got to pilot some ideas, try them out, make sure it's all going to work out the way you plan on when it comes to game day. It's really thickening up. And we're going to have to get our smasher out so we can start getting after some of these cranberries. We really want to make use of, get as much broken down in here so it really comes out good. A nice jelly. I think it should be a lot of fun. And then with these Fresno peppers mixed in, that tang, that tartness, and then with the heat from the peppers, we'll give it a shot, see how it comes out. I'm going to keep going at this for a little bit. It hasn't come up to a rolling boil yet, but it is warm enough now. And these were frozen cranberries, so they were already semi-soft, and they'll have some additional liquid in there. And keep smashing them up, breaking them down, and getting more out of this. kind of go through it. I'll probably end up speeding the video up a little bit so you can see it. Get some other pictures in. A lot of steam. Once it comes up to a boil, you see we're breaking down these cranberries. It'd be kind of hard to tell, but I am recording by myself today, so we'll pull the camera down here and we'll get some in-depth views. It's starting to really come around. Let me get the camera down so you guys can take a look inside the pot, see what it looks like. Quite a bit of steam going on. See if we can get that focused in. There you go. So now you can see how much is really happening inside. It's really coming to a boil. Oh yeah, so you can really see it rolling now. We're smashing things up. Alright. Alright, these are really rolling good now. It's getting hard to see on the camera, certainly. I'm going to start putting in 5 cups of sugar. It's really going to thicken up quickly. And as we go through this, we'll figure out whether or not 5 cups of sugar is too much or too little. If we had enough peppers or not enough peppers. And then we'll have a better idea. This is test batch number 1 of the Cranberry Fresno pepper jelly. I'm going to take it off the heat. Make sure we're really good and stirred up. Try and get all of that jelly, all of that sugar melted down. Make sure we get it off of the sides. You don't want it to cool down too much before we start putting it into jars. We do want to make sure we get as much of that granulated sugar melted in so it's not a gritty, we don't want a gritty jelly. We do want it to be smooth and flavorful. Hopefully it'll have some heat. Like I said, this is test batch number 1. And we'll make several more as we kind of perfect this recipe, getting ready for Thanksgiving. Alright, there you go. Nice, still hot. There's still some big chunks in there from the cranberries. And we'll try and smash those up a little bit more. But overall, it's looking like a jelly. And I think we're in pretty good shape. Alright, I think this will be our test batch. And it's easy for sugar to burn, so you want to take sure, that's why we take it off of the heat in order to do this stage. But I think we're pretty good. We've got our stuff going. It's pretty bright. And I'm going to go ahead and set it a little over here and bring the jars over so you guys can see what's going on. Still watching out for that burner. It's still a little warm. A little funnel ladle here and we'll start ladling. I'll leave about a 1/4 inch because it's going to, as the heat changes in these jars, don't want to overfill them, right? If you have more questions about canning, probably ask Grandma. But it's just a lot of fun to really do some of these things ahead of time It's also a great way to store other items. There's lots of techniques. We'll do the canning part a little bit later. We'll get them into a water bath. One of the things when you are canning jellies and jams, you can do them in a water bath. I know if you're going to try and can something with meat, you have to use a pressure cooker. There's just some fundamental rules around food safety, and all of those kinds of things can be found on the Food and Drug Administration website, or Ball's website, where I got the jars from. And looks like it's going pretty good. A little bit fell on that hot burner, so a little bit sizzle if you can hear that. But this is 4 cups of, let's call it berry product, right? 2 cups of cranberries, 2 cups of Fresno peppers, 1 cup of that apple cider vinegar, 1 package of pectin, and then 5 cups of sugar. You see how quickly this came together. Got some really, it looks really great. Can't wait to try it out once it cools a little bit. Safety note, probably not best to taste your jelly or jam while it's coming out of the pot. Could be a little damaging. That's about all we're going to get out of here. All right, we'll come back and we'll finish up the canning process. As you can see, we've got our lids, our jars with the rings already put on them. We'll put them back into a water bath. Now we'll take a picture of what looks inside. But I've got a stand, basically a riser from my my pressure cooker. That way the jar is right on the bottom of the pan, on the bottom of the pot, because we're going to bring this all the way up to a boil. What we've done, I've already had it come up to it's a warm temperature, and so we put all of these jars back in to the water now that they're fully submerged, and then we're going to bring the whole thing up to a boil. Get it to a good boil for about 5 minutes, and then we'll be able to take them out, let them cool on the rack again, and they should be good. What we'll know, though, we know they're done, is because that lid will have sealed itself tight. It'll create a vacuum. And just like when you buy a jar of jelly at the store, when you hear that, you open it, you hear that pop. And when you go back to it, you know, the lid will pop in and out. It's because you've broken that seal. That's why they can sit on the shelf for months and months. That's the same thing will happen here. Now that we've put everything together, it's hot inside the jars. The lids are on, not overly tight, just finger tight. And then with the additional heat, basically raising everything up to a boil inside for about 5 minutes, will seal it shut. In fact, we'll notice that the rings will have loosened, and so we'll have to go back around and tighten them up. The inside lid will have sealed shut, and then the ring is just there to help hold it down. So we'll do that. It's going to go for about 5 minutes once it gets up to a full boil, and then we'll be done with our first jelly, our first chance at cranberry Fresno pepper jelly. All right, we'll try that out with some sausage we make in one of our next videos. Please don't forget to subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. Let us know in the comments below what you'd like to see Claire or I cook. We're always excited to try new recipes, try other things out. Really want to build this channel up and get a lot more people involved in cooking at home and being creative in our own kitchens. All right, thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.